Hi guys, it's BJ here. Welcome to my channel. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to build this dashboard. So the data sets which we'll be using is actually on a PostgreSQL server. So it's a Contoso sales data set by Microsoft. So it consists of 6 tables with 5 of them having relationship among themselves. We have the sales table, which is the central of fact table. Then we have the dimension table, such as customer, the date, the product, and the store. So this is how the entity relationship diagram looks like, and we also be using this in our data model. So we have the revenue, we have the profit, we have the column chart spark line, then we have the profit and the profit margin, then we have the spark line as well, which is in quarterly. That means we have the Q1, the Q2, the Q3, and the Q4. Likewise for quantity, then we have the last month versus. Let me filter this. Filter for year 2020. So as you can see, for year 2020, from December 2021, we are 16% down. Okay, and then we have the revenue by country, and we have a shape map here, which I'm going to show you how to do. And also we have the revenue by continent, which we can also drill down. So we can drill down by North America. Okay. Okay, so we drill down by continent. So we have the US with a revenue of $6.4 million. And likewise, we have Canada of revenue of $1.6 million. Okay, you can drill up. You can also check revenue by country. Okay. So it's going to filter the KPIs by the country. Likewise, the revenue by continent as well. So since this is a USA category, this is a US category. Okay. So this is United States category. So let me clear the filters. So we have revenue by category as well. Likewise, we have the revenue and profit by year. This one is the revenue, while this one here is the profit. Likewise, we have a brief customer analytics as well. So we have the total count of customers and also our top 5 customers. Then also we have a spark line here. So this spark line is about the customer counts we acquire in each year. So that will be it. Let's dive in. Welcome back. So now let's get our data. So we'll be connecting to a PostgreSQL database. So get data. So more PostgreSQL database. So we're using connecting to the local host, and our database name is Contoso underscore 100k. Since I've already connected to this database before, so it's not requiring authentication. So just give me direct access. Okay, so these are the tables we have in our database. So we'll be selecting the tables we need. So we need the public customer, we need the date, we need the product, and also we need the sales table. So let's transform it. Okay, so the Power Query is loaded. So let's filter for the columns we need. So for the public customers, let's select the columns we need. Choose columns. The reason I'm doing this is to improve performance. If we were to load all this into Power BI, it's going to slow down our performance. So let's select the column. Okay, so we need the customer key. We don't need this. We don't need, not needed, not needed, not. So in the customer table, these are the columns we need. So we need the customer key, the continent, the city, the state full, the country full as well. Okay, for the date, we won't be making any changes to this. But for the products, we don't need some of the columns there. So let's filter for the columns we need as well. Choose columns, choose columns. So for this table, we need the product key, the product name, the category name, and the subcategory. This one is just the relationship between the two tables, between the sales table and the product table. So this is the relationship. Now for the public sales table, which is the fact table, all these other ones are dimensions. The customer, date, and product are dimensions. So this one is the fact table here. So let's select the columns we need as well. So in the sales table, these are the columns that are required. The order date, customer key, product key, quantity, unit price, unit cost, exchange rate, while all these other columns here are just the relationship between tables. So Power Queries has already detected the relationship and has also go ahead and joins those tables together. So close and apply. Okay, so the table has been imported. So these are the tables. So let's view them. So let's go into table view. So we have the customer table. We have the public dates. Then we have the public products table. So these are the dimensions. So, and also we have the fact table, which is the fact sales table. So now let's go into the model view to see how the relationships looks like. So this is a star schema. So this is a star schema. So let me rearrange this. Okay, let's pin the relationship. Let's pin the relationship columns at the top. So product key, customer key. So this is it for the model. Okay, so let's go into our table view and create some calculated columns. So we need the sales column. We don't have the sales column, we don't have the profits column. So let's quickly calculate those two. New column. Okay, sale equals, so quantity multiply by unit price multiply by exchange rates. Enter. Okay, let's create for profit as well. Profit equals quantity multiplied by unit cost multiplied by exchange rates. Enter. Okay, we have gotten the sales column and the profit column. So now let's go ahead and create our measures. Report view. So let's create a table in which we are going to store those measures. So we name it as KPI measures load. Okay, so right click, new measure. So we are going to create how many measures? We are going to create revenue, the profit margin, the quantity, and also the customer count. We also be creating measure for this last month versus and as well as the color. So let's do it one step at a time. So the first measure is going to be revenue. Revenue equals sum what? Sales. Our sales column. Okay, let's create another measure which is for profits. New measure. profit equals sum profit column, close bracket, enter. Now for our quantity sum quantity column. So for our customer count equals distinct count customer key from our sales table, not from our customer table, because we're actually interested in the customer that purchased, not in their actual record. Okay, so for profit margin as well, so for profit margin equals divide our profit KPI or measure from our revenue. Okay, add 0, enter. Okay, now let's do some number formatting. Revenue. Okay. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, and Control V. So 5 KPI cards. Okay. So revenue, profit, profit margin, quantity, and customer count. Okay. So let's quickly do some formatting. I don't want any decimal here. Okay. Zero decimal. Revenue, currency, zero decimal. For the profit margin, should be expressed in percentage. Okay, so let's group our KPIs together, our main KPIs. Let's group it together. Model view. Okay. Main KPI. Enter. So it's going to group them under a folder. Let's go ahead and remove this. We won't be needing it. Okay. So let's head over to our report view. So now we have created our main KPIs. So let's create our last month's revenue profit and quantity as well. So we can be able to use month over month for this calculation here. So let's quickly do that. New measure, revenue, previous month equals. So we'll be using the calculate function to filter revenue KPI or measure by 1 month behind, date add. So we are going to add our date table, date, our date column from the date table, then number of interval, we want to go back -1, then the interval type, we want the month, okay, enter. I forgot to close this bracket, let me quickly do that. Okay, it has automatically done that. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the same process for the quantity, for the profit as well. So let me go ahead and do that. So right click, new measure. So let me copy this. Okay, so I'm paste it instead of rewriting the same code all over and over again. Profit, previous month. So we change this to profit, enter. Okay, so let's create for our quantity as well, new measure, Ctrl V, Ctrl V, quantity, or quantity measure. Enter. Okay, so let's group it together as well. Let me fold this. Profit, previous month, quantity, previous month, and revenue, previous month. So previous month, enter. Let's fold it. Okay, so report view. Okay, so now let's create our month over month calculation. New measure. Okay. Revenue month over month equals. So var a equals. So the formula to calculate for month over month growth is divide current month, which is our current revenue, divided by our previous month's revenue. So 0 minus 1. Okay. So now let's include our up and down arrow. So it's going to be if revenue, which is our current month's revenue, is greater than our previous month's revenue. So if it is greater, what should it do? So I have the Unicode character here. So the Unicode character for up, which is this. This one is the down. So I hope you get the gist for the up arrow. And also, so this is the Unicode character. Ctrl C. Okay. Ctrl V. Comma. If true, so it's going to put the up arrow key. While if it is false, it's going to put the down arrow key. So instead of us using the icons, so we have a Unicode character you can use. Ctrl V. Okay, so let's close the bracket. So now let's merge, or let's concatenate these two together. So return B, which is this, if true, if it is up, if our current month's revenue is greater than our previous month's revenue, so it's going to output this, so which is going to signify for this B, then concatenate for our what? For our actual value. So concatenate for A. So this is going to return a value in decimal, so we express it in percentage. So we use the format function, format A to be in what? Double quotes 0% close double quotes. So let's check if this works. Let me go ahead and copy this. So we use for profit month over month and quantity month over month. So let's check if this works. Let me bring in a KPI card. Okay. Okay. So it is working. Okay. So let's go ahead and create for profit as well. New measure. So Ctrl V, the same code. Now let's make some changes. Profit. So this is going to be profit as well. So our current month's profit. Then our previous month's profit, previous month. So likewise this, profit, current month, revenue, remove that, profit, previous month. Click enter. Okay, so now let's create for quantity as well. I'm still going to move this from this place here, so don't worry about it. So let's create for quantity as well. New measure, Ctrl V, quantity, 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 quantity. Okay, enter. So let's go into our model view and group those together as well. So okay, so profit month over month, quantity month over month, revenue month over month. So month over month, enter. Okay, now for the last KPIs, so we are going to be using, so for the colors, because we are going to be using a conditional color, so that whenever this is down, it's going to show red, while if it is up, it's going to show green. So let's create those condition KPIs as well. So right click, new measure. Okay, so it's going to be revenue color equals if current month's revenue, the condition is greater than revenue of previous month, then it should be what? Green. And if false, it should be what? Red. So now let's copy this. So we will replicate it for the rest as well. Enter. Okay, let's check if this is working. So we're going to check it with this. So format, call out value, color, find value. Okay, so MOM. Let's see if it is going to work. Okay, it is working. It is working. So let's go ahead and do for quantity and profit as well. Let's quickly go ahead and do that. Okay, so for the profit, new measure. So let's paste and make some changes. Profit. Profit. Profit previous month. Enter. Okay, so let's create for quantity as well. New measure. Ctrl V. Quantity. Quantity. Previous month quantity. Let me close this curly brace. No. Square brackets. Okay. Okay, so let me group those together as well. Okay, so let me adjust this. Okay, so let's design our wireframe. So I'll head over to my PowerPoint, blank presentation. So I'm going to be using a blank layout. Okay, so now I have a color picker here. So I'll be using it in picking those colors. So for the background, which is green, Control All, Control C. So format background, more colors, custom, Control A, Control V. Okay, so now for the dashboard background, so let me bring in the shape, rectangle with round edges. Let me reduce the round edges. Okay, so remove the outline, no lines. So the fill color, more colors, custom, Control A, Control V. So now let's create our card, our charts and KPI card background. So the color to use for that, pick color. Okay. Control A, Control C. Okay, so let's create those shapes. Control duplicate. Okay, let me go ahead and bring in those icons. Let's reduce it to 2. So these ones are not functional, they are just for design purpose. This one also to 2. That is the thickness. So let's change this color to white. So let's import the last icon. So let's use 0.63 inches or 0.69 inches. For this one as well, 0.69. For this as well, 0.69. Let's adjust this. Okay, let's change the outline to white as well. So the width to 2. Okay, okay. Okay, so we are through with this. So let's go ahead and bring in our charts. So I'm going to remove the category label of this. So we have more room. And also let me rearrange this. Let's reduce the size. Okay, so let's bring in our dashboard background. File, export, change file type, PNG. Okay, so let's export it to our desktop. It's going to be YT. Just this one. Okay, so let's import it here. So click on anywhere the surrounding, then canvas background, browse, desktop, YT. Now you won't be able to see anything at first because it is transparent. So let's reduce the transparency. Okay, so now let's change all this color to white, except this. Okay, so let me fit them into this. Let me fit them. Let's bring in our chart. So we are going to bring in a spark line here. So let's do that. So column chart. So let's add our month from the date table. So our month on the x-axis, then our revenue KPI. Okay. So since this is going to be a spark line, we'll be removing all this. So remove the background first. Okay. So let's remove the x-axis and the y-axis value as well, including the titles. Let's remove the title. You don't need that. For the y-axis as well, values and title. Okay. Now, we want to achieve a somehow curve at the curve edges at the top, which is similar to this. So now we'll be using error bars. We'll be using error bars. So for this column, we are going to make it transparent. Then our error bars. Okay. So let me quickly define a KPI here. So it's going to be our base KPI, which will be 0. Okay. So drag it on the lower bound, 0, and revenue at the upper bound. Okay. So let's increase the width to 10. Let's increase the width to 10. For the markers, let's use this round here. Okay. So let's remove the border or make it 0. Good. So shrink. Okay. So for this one, the spark line is going to be quarterly. So it's going to be a line chart. So line chart. Okay. So on the x-axis is going to be date, but quarterly. And on the y-axis is going to be profits. Okay. So let's remove the background of this one as well. Remove background. Remove title. Values. So for the x-axis, let's remove the values as well. Now let's smoothen this. Let's smoothen it. So lines, where is the lines? Yes, lines. So let's smoothen it. Smooth. Okay. Smooth. So I go ahead and duplicate this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So we can also use this for the quantity as well. So now let's get the spark lines for the customer count as well. That means customer growth across years. So we're using a shaded area chart. Okay, so let's bring in our Spark lines. Area charts. So drag it here. Expand. Okay, so let's populate it. So it's going to be, for the x-axis, it's going to be our date hierarchy on the x-axis, and also our customer count on the y-axis. So let's remove the background as well, and also remove the title and the values for the x-axis. Okay, we're on the right track. Okay, so now let's bring in our top 5 customers. So we are going to use a donut chart. Okay. So the legend is going to be the customer ID from our sales table, customer key. So it's going to be on the legend. So the revenue and the values. Okay. So now, as you can see, we have lots of data here. Can't be able to discern our top 5. So we use the filter to check for the top 5. Give it a minute. So our customer key, drop down. So what do we want? Top N, which is 5. Top 5. Okay. So what are we checking by? We are checking for the top 5 by revenue. So apply. Okay. Okay. So now let's bring in our sales trend. So area chart as well. Let me fold this. Expand it. Okay. So on the x-axis, we are going to put our date hierarchy. And on the y-axis, we are going to put our revenue followed by our profits. Okay, so let's remove all these values and the legend title. So the legend title. Okay, so expand. Let's remove the background as well for these two at the same time. Okay, let's remove the grid lines. And also for the x-axis and the legend, let's change the color to white. Reduce the font to 8. Use a new UI bold. Likewise for this, the 8, color to white. So let's increase the donut spacing. Let's make it 90. 90. Okay, 90. Perfect. Okay, so for the details label, let's just use percentage. I don't want to see the actual values. Percent of total. For the color, let's make it white. This one is not applying. Let me redo it. Percent of total. Okay. So the font to it. Okay. Let's expand this. I don't want to see the decimal. So 0. Okay. So let's change this x-axis color value as well. Let's change it to white. So let's reduce the font size to it. Then the color to white. So the font type, Sergio UI semi-bold. Okay. Let me drag this down. Okay. Okay. So now let's bring in our bar charts for the categories. Bar charts. So for this, we'll be implementing drill down. So we'll be creating hierarchy for this. Okay. Okay. So first is our category name. So under product table, so our category name, go on the x-axis. Okay, then followed by our subcategory, then followed by product name. So we are doing this by revenue. So revenue, we go on the x-axis. Okay. Okay. So let's remove the background. And also let's remove the x-axis values. Let's also decrease the width of the y-axis. Now for the x-axis, let's change the color of the y-axis as well to white. The font size should be 8. And also the font type Okay, so let's remove the grid lines and also the x-axis values. So let's remove the title and also the values and also the grid lines. So now we'll be making use of error bars here, since this is curve as well. So making use of error bars, and we'll also be turning on our data label. So let's go and turn on our data labels. Okay, so it's going to be white. So values, font size to 8, Segway UI semi-bold, color going to be white. Okay. So now let's implement the curve edges. So increase the transparency. Now let's turn on the error bars. So enable. So for the base is going to be 0. Then for the upper bound, it's going to be our actual revenue. Okay, so let's increase the bar size. So to 10, because that's the maximum we can go. 10. And also for the markers, let's use circle. Okay. Now let's reduce the border. Okay. So now let's duplicate this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Okay. So drag it over here. Shrink it. Okay, so now we're bringing in our continent. Let's remove this data. Okay, so public customer. So our continent first, then followed by country full or country name. So then followed by states full. Then followed by city. So in case you are seeing this, if you are seeing this country name, I went ahead and renamed this from country full to country name. So don't mistake this. So now we can drill down by country, can drill down by continent. So let's turn on one click drill down. So by continent, then by country, then by state, then by city. Okay, so let's drill up. Okay, so now let's bring in this our shape map. So for this, we'll be using this option here, this shape map here. In case if you are not seeing this shape map here, so just head over to File, Options, then under Preview Features, then turn this on, Shape Map Visual. So just turn it on. It will prompt you to restart the Power BI, so just go ahead and do that. So, okay. So now, let's do this. So shape map, expand it. Okay, so now let's drag in our country name onto the location and then our revenue KPI. to color saturation. Okay, so now as you can see, this is a USA map here, but we want it to display all the country names. So, but this is a USA map. We want to achieve this, not this. So what we'll be doing is we are going to head over to Natural Earth and download the custom map there. So let's head over to Natural Earth. So on this Natural Earth, you click on download. So naturalearthdata.com, click on download. So it's going to bring different type and sizes. So we want the medium. So click cultural. Okay, so under this admin 0 countries, so just click download countries. Okay, so now this is a zip file here, but this our Power BI doesn't understand anything with zip file. It doesn't understand it. You can't import it in zip file format. So that's why we have to export it as a JSON file. So to do that, we are going to make use of Map Shaper. So Map Shaper is going to help us convert it from that zip file into a JSON file. So click select. So download. So click on it. Then, so this is the world map here. So click export. So want to export as topo JSON file. So export. Okay, so it's downloaded. So now let's head over to Power BI. So under this format here, so you see map type. So under this map type here, you can see that all you have here is USA, France, and not the world map itself. So what you are going to do here is you are going to click on custom map. So after custom map, so we are going to click browse. So then we select the JSON file we just finished downloading, which is this. So it's going to change this. Okay, so now we want it in form of globe and not a flat map like this. So we come under this projection and change it to orthographic. So give it a minute. Okay, so that's it, guys. So okay, so from here we want it to be able to zoom in and zoom out. So we are going to turn on zoom and selection. So let me test if it's working. So select this, United States. Okay, it's working. Zoom out. Okay, so let's remove the background. Okay, so now let's bring in our filter. Okay, so we want to filter by date hierarchy. Okay, so let's make some adjustment to this. So let's remove the header. And for the slicer settings, so you want it in drop down, not vertical list. Okay, so let's shrink it and drag it over here. Okay, so let's quickly customize this. So let's customize this spark line first. Okay, then this as well. Okay, so for this, let's reduce the line width. Good, good. Okay, for this as well. So for the revenue, let's reduce it to 2. As for the color, now for the profits, let's also use the same color, but let's decrease the saturation. Okay, now let's smoothen those lines. Let's smoothen it. Okay, so for this ones as well, let's change the color to green. Okay, let's proceed and do for the donut chart as well. Let me expand this. Okay, so let's go ahead and do for the donut chart as well. So slices. Okay, so as we move down, I'm going to keep decreasing the saturation. Okay, okay, that's that. So now let's do for this map as well. Fill color. Okay, so for the minimum, make use of this. And for the maximum value, make use of this. Okay, so let's adjust the borders. For the borders, let's use something in between. Okay, okay. Yes, we're on the right track. We're on the right track. Okay, so now let me label all these KPIs. So insert a text box. Okay. So let's bring in our month over month for quantity and profit as well. So let me just copy this, Control C, Control V. So it will save us the stress of reformatting again. Control V. Okay, so let's just change the data. Okay, so it's going to be month over month profit. Okay, so so and for the color value, so find value color, so our profit color. Okay, likewise for quantity, remove this month over month quantity. So let's clear this. Find value quantity. Okay, we are almost done. So let's change this chart title colors. Okay, the colors are white. So go UI semi bold. Let me shrink this to fit. Okay, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Customer count. Let's increase this to 12. And the color. Okay, perfect. Okay, perfect. So let's rename this title. So let's bring in a text box. So let's have the background. Top 5. Top 5. So let's increase it to 14, I think. Let's change the color to white. So it matches with this. Let's increase the font size again to 16. Okay. Okay. Now let's quickly customize this as well. For the background, let's have the background. For the value background, let's change it to this to match this. Okay, it's not matching. Let's use color picker. Okay. So for the background, more colors. Ctrl V. Okay. And for the font values, let's use white. For the font size, let's reduce it to 8. And for the font type, so go UI semi-bold. Let's check. Okay. 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 So now let's bring in our profile picture. So insert images, desktop. So let's put a text box. Let's copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So welcome back admin. Welcome back admin. Okay. So for the chart, for the dashboard title, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So let's check the title. Contoso sales overview. Contoso sales overview. So let's stretch it and also increase the font size to 16. Let's increase it to 18. Okay, let's remove the border. Okay, so this is perfect. This is perfect. Okay, so let's include the clear button, the clear filter button. So if you want to do this, you have to make sure that your data set, particularly the chart and the filter, they are in their default state. That means no filter is being applied both on the values and on the chart. So before you can do this, because this is going to take a snapshot. It's going to take a snapshot. So let's quickly do that. Click on bookmark. In case if you didn't see this here, just head over to view and turn it on here. So that's it. Bookmark. So write, rename it to blank, rename to blank, rename it to blank, enter. Okay, so head over to insert. So button, blank. Okay, so for the action, turn it on, then bookmark, select blank, select blank. So now let's customize it. Let's increase the corners. Okay, let's put it here. And also the size, let's reduce the size. Okay, so we should fill it. Let's see the color we use. Okay, with a white text. Clear. Okay, white. Okay, let's change the font type. So let's remove the border as well. We don't need it. And we are done. So this is it, guys. So everything is looking clean and perfect. So we can filter. Let's filter to year 2020 and confirm if these are working. Okay, 2022, 2024. Okay, let's check if this is not contradicting. So month over month, so profit, it is accurate. Let's check the formula again. So profit, it's accurate. For quantity as well. Okay. There's no issue with our formulas. Let's check 2024. Let's check for 2023. Okay, so there's no issue. Look like the data is just tallying with one another. Okay, guys, so that is it with this dashboard. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, and share. Turn on your notification bell so that whenever I post a new video, you are going to receive an instant notification. So have a great day, guys. Bye.